Welcome back to The Factor. This week marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast, crippling communities with devastating flooding. Now, some current and former FEMA employees warn we could see a similar catastrophe following federal cuts to disaster response. FEMA has lost about 1/3 of its employees. In a letter sent to Congress, FEMA accused the Trump administration of reducing FEMA's response capabilities and called for it to be shielded from political interference by becoming a cabinet-level agency. Joining us to talk about it, political analyst Dr. Dietrich von Bietenfeld and University of Houston downtown professor Dr. David Branham. How bad of a shape are we when it comes to FEMA if there is another Katrina?
We were in bad shape before. I mean, FEMA has an impossible job. In no scenario can they actually help people enough to where people will be satisfied. Think about it. These are people getting devastated. Their homes are getting destroyed. And then they're walking in saying, what can we do to help you? And what they need, they can't provide. So in the first place, we were in trouble with FEMA as it was. We saw during Katrina that FEMA was just completely lacking. Now, despite what people may say, you can't do more with less people and less money. If you have less people, less money, you'll do less, and that means that FEMA is in even more trouble than it's been in the past.
Dr. von Bietenfeld, are we in trouble?
Absolutely, and I think, while we look at the minuscule number of people, of course people are going to cite this letter from 180 people, fewer than 1% of the 17,000 employees writing this critical letter on the anniversary of Katrina, and we look to Harvey at the same time. I mean, it's hurricane season, right? And so we're looking at these threats. I think people are hypersensitive, but the reality is whether you paid out $12 billion to individuals and $133 billion to governments, as they have, at the end of the day, most people are looking at this agency like the Jonestown Massacre. That is self-destructive, people asking states like Florida and Texas to drink the Kool-Aid and be self-destructive and accept cuts when we are accepting in our 254 counties many more disasters. Galveston, property values much higher, therefore the damage is much greater than some of these more liberal states, maybe like California with wildfires. They just simply don't have the resources, they never have, and now it's worse.
And when we talk about compounding that with the National Weather Service also facing cuts, being able to forecast and predict these possible storms coming our way, is that another major nail in the coffin?
Well, we'll have to see, because we haven't seen it yet. Those cuts have came, and we haven't seen these weather systems come through where they're so devastating. So we're going to have to see, can the cuts, can the National Weather Service, despite these cuts, actually provide the service that we need as far as hurricanes and so forth. We look at our local weather right now, and it looks just the same to me as it always has. When we see the weather forecast, we see all the technology and so forth. So far, it looks very good. So we're just going to have to see if these cuts are going to actually make it where it's less likely that we're going to have good forecasts.
Will a cabinet-level position make this safer, any better?
Arguably, when it was elevated to the cabinet-level position, I mean, this is a Carter appointment level area where you're 46 years, and then Clinton and others have elevated to cabinet level for this consideration, and we've seen it continuously undermined by needs for other agencies in the same way that we might parallel this to Social Security, where we just draw on the contract with America, right? So this anticipatory breach of contract has existed for years. And so being a cabinet level area doesn't help, particularly when NOAA has now asked for everything exceeding $100,000 to go through her office. At the same time, states like Texas have said $100,000 is the minimum threshold that they want to see things. So we know that prices have gone up. We know that the challenges have gone up. And at this point, NOAA has said, no, actually, I want to slow things down a little bit more. So cabinet level isn't helping. And at the end of the day, it's still going to report through the Secretary of Homeland Security, and she is going to control every bit of this under her thumb.
All righty. We want to thank you guys for joining us. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for a very special edition of The Factor ahead of Hurricane Katrina's anniversary. Our coverage begins at 10:30.